So let's have an example. If you have a container of hydrogen gas and burn this in the presence of oxygen, the two gases would react together, releasing energy to form water. So the equation will be most likely like this. So hydrogen gas reacts with oxygen gas, producing water in liquid plus energy. So what is our step number 1? You count the number of atoms of each element on each side of the equation. So let's start with the reactants. So what are the reactants in this equation? You have the hydrogen and the oxygen. So how many atoms of hydrogen do you have? You have 2 atoms. While for oxygen, you have 2 atoms also. How do you know the number of atoms? So the subscript will give you the number of atoms for each element. And then for the product side, you have also hydrogen and oxygen. So you have 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Step number 2, pick one element in which you can balance. So here in this equation, you will write 2 in the hydrogen gas in the reactant side. That means you multiply it by the subscript 2 times 2. That means that you have 4 atoms of hydrogen. Then you need to balance it with your hydrogen gas in your product side. So you will have also 2 times 2, that will give you 4. For the oxygen, you have 2 atoms of oxygen in the reactant side and then 2 atoms on the product side. Then we can say that the equation now is balanced. Another example, nitrogen gas reacts with oxygen gas to form ammonia. So you have N2 plus H2 producing NH3. So let's balance the equation. Again, count the number of atoms on each side of the equation. So for the reactant side, you have 2 atoms of nitrogen and 2 atoms of hydrogen. For the product, you have 1 atom of nitrogen and 3 atoms of hydrogen. So before you have NH3, so you will write coefficient 3 in hydrogen in the reactant side and then 2 in your product as your coefficient. So you will have N2 plus 3H2 producing 2NH3. That means that in your reactant side, the number of nitrogen is 2 atoms. On the product side, you have 2 atoms of nitrogen. For the hydrogen gas, 3 times 2, so you have 6 atoms of hydrogen. And then for the product side, 2 times 3, so you have also 6 hydrogen atom. So nitrogen is balanced, hydrogen is balanced, your equation is now balanced. You are now ready to answer your activities on your worksheets. Practice makes perfect. So your activity 1, you identify the reactants and products given the chemical equations. Activity 2, balancing of chemical equations. And your activity 3, writing of balanced chemical equations from given human activities. You may now summarize your concepts regarding balancing of chemical equations. Complete the concept map below by filling up the boxes with the appropriate concepts using the linking words, phrases as guide on how these concepts are related to each other. Given below are the concepts. You can see this concept map on your activity sheets. Complete the concept map using the concepts given to you. During the lockdown, you look for activities that you can do inside the house to make you busy and lessen your boredom. Who among you tried cooking or baking during those days? The process of cooking involves a series of chemical reactions which turn separate ingredients into a cohesive edible dish. Do you know the place here in Pasig who are known for their special puto and other kakanin? Barangay Bambang is known for special puto, while Barangay Bagulibog is famous in suman and other kakanin. This time, you are now ready to take your post test. Ready? Number 1. What is the product in the chemical reaction calcium carbonate was heated and decomposes that yields calcium oxide and carbon dioxide? A. Calcium carbonate, B. Calcium carbonate and carbon dioxide, C. Calcium oxide and carbon dioxide, D. Calcium carbonate and calcium oxide. Number 2. The chemical reaction between the two compounds, namely phosphoric acid and calcium hydroxide, when combined together produce calcium phosphate and calcium sulfate. Which of the following is the correct chemical formula of phosphoric acid? A. 2 phosphoric acid plus 3 moles of calcium hydroxide, producing calcium phosphate plus 6 moles of water. B. Phosphoric acid reacts with calcium hydroxide, producing calcium phosphate plus 6 moles of water. C. 3 moles of phosphoric acid plus calcium hydroxide, producing calcium hydroxide plus 3 moles of water. D. H3PO4 and close parenthesis 4 plus calcium hydroxide, producing calcium phosphate plus water. Number 3. Which of the following is correctly balanced? A. Calcium carbonate plus 2 moles of hydrochloric acid, producing calcium chloride plus water and carbon dioxide. Letter B. 2 nitrogen monoxide plus O2, producing 2 moles of nitrogen dioxide. C. Aluminum plus hydrochloric acid, producing aluminum chloride plus hydrogen gas. Next, letter D. Hydrogen gas plus iron trioxide, producing iron plus water. Number 4. Which of the following equation best represent the decomposition reaction of solid magnesium oxide forming solid magnesium and oxygen gas? A. 8 moles of magnesium oxide decomposes, producing 4 moles and 2 moles of oxygen gas. B. 8 moles of magnesium oxide decomposes, producing 8 magnesiums plus 4 moles of oxygen gas. Letter C. 2 moles of magnesium oxide decomposes 4 moles of magnesium plus 2 moles of oxygen. And letter D. 2 moles of magnesium oxide. Number 5. The correct coefficient for the equation NO plus O2 producing NO2. A. 414, B. 212, C. 222, and letter D. 442.